Hi everybody, this is Worre and welcome to our webinar, How to Recruit 20 People in 30 Days. I can get pretty excited about this topic because I know what it can do for you. And as we start, I know a lot of you are brand new to the Network Marketing Pro or you might not even know who I am. Somebody in your organization suggested that you get on this webinar. Let me just give you a brief background, okay? My name is Worre. I've been involved in the network marketing profession since 1988. I got started when I was 23 years old, and I went through a lot of struggles over the course of my profession. And about 4 years into my career, finally cracked the code as far as what I needed to do in order to be able to be successful. And it created a great career for me. I mean, over the course of my career, I've earned over $15 million a year, or excuse me, not a year, but $15 million in commissions over the course of my career. I've built organizations totaling over 500,000 distributors in 60 countries around the world. It's been an enormous amount of fun, rewarding on every level, being able to contribute to other people's lives, to be able to have freedom, do what you want to do in your life. That's why we do what we do here. And over the course of my career, and specifically in the last 5 years, with Network Marketing Pro, I have interviewed and talked with the top earners in network marketing. Maybe 100 different people that have earned over $1 million a year in network marketing, maybe 100. Thousands of people that are six-figure a year earners. It's been a fascinating discovery to learn some things and search for some things. And I'm going to share one of the biggest insights with you today. But that's just a little introduction as far as who I am. My passion is to let people know that we have a better way in network marketing. To let people know that network marketing isn't perfect, it's just better. It's better than other ways to be able to create income and create a career in this world. It's a profession, it's not just this thing out there. And I want to raise the bar of professionalism inside of network marketing. And specifically today, my mission is to empower each of you that are watching this webinar to go out there and create a burst of amazing energy and activity, bring in a whole new group of people in a short period of time, and use that as a platform to launch a next evolution of your career. Maybe you're just getting started, maybe you've been around for a while, maybe you've stagnated, maybe you've dropped down, maybe you're a high-level earner. I promise you, no matter who you are, this concept that we're going to talk about today is going to take you to another level, all right? So with that, let me tell you what you're going to learn. Oh, first of all, I would just tell you, if you don't have something to write with, get something to write with. So you and make sure you got paper and pen to be able to take good notes, because it's one thing for you to learn this, but this webinar is going to be up for 24 hours and then it's gone. It's another thing for you to be able to take the notes and then transfer this information to the people in your organization, the people that you know. If you learn how to do that, then you're good, okay? If you just take it for yourself, then it's a little, I don't know, selfish. Take notes as if you're going to go teach this concept to the people in your organization tomorrow, okay? Take those kinds of notes. Now, let me tell you what you're going to learn. We talk about recruiting 20 people in 30 days. First, well, not necessarily in any particular order, you're going to learn why this is important. Why it's important to be able to recruit 20 people in a short period of time. I picked 30 days, but recruit a bunch of people, and 20 is kind of a magical number. We're going to talk about that in 30 days. Number two, you're going to learn what it's going to be worth if you do it. What you can expect to get in exchange for making this happen and having this huge burst of energy. And third, you're going to learn how. You're going to learn how, specifically, step by step, how to go recruit 20 people in 30 days. So how's that sound? Why it works, why it's important, what it's going to mean for you, and how to go do it. Fair enough? All right. So let's talk about a major discovery that really occurred to me over the course of the last 5 years. I've studied the network marketing profession, and as I told you, I've been successful in the network marketing profession But in the last 5 years, I've been able to kind of focus on the attributes of the $1 million earners. And it started when I started interviewing people who made $1 million or more in network marketing. And I've done, I don't know how many $1 million a year interviews on Network Marketing Pro. Out of those 1,000 videos, there's, I don't know, 25, 30 that I've done there. Plus I've talked to and interviewed people off camera, and I started to see a trend. And the trend was almost all of them, every single one of them. When I dug back and I started to dig into their story, I started to go back to how it was all created. I found that the majority of their success and income and growth came from a burst of intense activity in a short period of time. Something that I call now the 90-day game plan. And I have an event that I do over the course of the last couple of years called Insanity Boot Camp, the magic of the 90-day game plan, how 90 days can change your life. Because here's what I saw when I interviewed these people is, I say, okay, was there ever a time in your career when you were, when you really went after it like crazy and you brought in a bunch of people in a short period of time? Yes, there was. I say, okay, well, how much of your success today can you point back to that little burst of energy? And the answers were like 70%, 80%, 90%. I was like, what? 90% of their huge income was pointed back to this little big bang that happened within a 90-day period of time? I was like, wow. So I started to, once I kind of keyed in on that, and I got that answer from one person, I started to go to everybody. And I said, well, tell me your story. How did that happen with you? And they repeated the same thing. And I started to hear about this 90-day game plan, this burst of energy, massive, crazy, outrageous, unreasonable work, hard work in a short period of time. And then they could kind of go on cruise control. And I'm going to explain how that works. We'll talk about that. We're not going to be able to do a 2-day insanity boot camp over the course of this webinar, but I will just tell you, it was fascinating to, number one, find that was a common denominator with all the top earners. Number two is, I kind of found that the 6-figure a year earners did one of those 90-day game plans one time. They brought in a big group of people and they really went after it. They did it one time. The 7-figure a year earners did it multiple times. That was the difference between 6-figure and 7-figure. Went, wow, okay. Then I looked back at my story and said, okay, could I point my success back to a 90-day game plan, to a burst of energy, to recruiting a bunch of people in a short period of time? And I found that all of my success, probably out of the 15 million that I earned, probably at least 13 million of it, I could point back to 2 or 3 different 90-day bursts of energy in 25 years. Okay, 2 or 3. So would you work hard for 2 or 3 90-day bursts of energy in order to be able to earn $15 million or $13 million? I think the answer is yes. Everybody would agree with that. So, one, I studied I found this secret. 2, I saw that it was a common denominator with everyone. And if you want to test this, go ask your upline and find out if they did something like this, and you'll find that that's the truth. And then 3, I studied my results. I looked back at my results and I found that, oh my gosh, I think I found something that nobody's talking about inside of network marketing. That's the 90-day game plan. Wow. And then inside of the 90-day game plan, there was a magic number. And the magic number was 20 inside of the 90-day game plan. I found that at the beginning of the 90-day game plan, each person recruited about 20 people or so, some a little bit more, some a tiny bit less, but not a lot less, maybe 18, 16, 15. And they did it in a short period of time. And that was the magic of kicking off their 90-day game plan. So that was fascinating to me. It was fascinating to me to see that the 20 number is what repeated over and over and over again. So I'm going to teach you the 20 part today. I can't do the whole 90-day game plan. I can't do the whole Insanity Bootcamp, but I'm going to teach you the 20 part today. How to go get 20 in 30 days and have that important element I'm going to talk about why 20 is important in a few minutes. But the important element of making that happen. But before I do that, let me talk about some of the myths. Some of the myths in network marketing. Myth number 1. Slow and steady wins the race. Slow and steady wins the race. If you just stay consistent, if you just hang in there, if you just do a little bit every single month, a little tiny bit every single month, if you do that, then success is bound to happen for you. That's not true. It's a myth, especially in network marketing. Other careers, maybe that's true. But in network marketing, guess what? Slow and steady is going to starve you to death. Slow and steady, if you're going to cross the road and there's heavy traffic, is slow and steady the best way to get across the road? No. You got to get across the road. Slow and steady, you're going to get run over, right? So slow and steady is not going to win the race. Slow and steady is going to starve you to death inside of network marketing. And let me kind of give you a couple of examples. And part of this is part of what society has taught us. The tortoise and the hare. You've heard the story of the tortoise and the hare. Who wins the race? Does the rabbit win the race or does the turtle win the race? Well, the rabbit took off like crazy and then got distracted and disappeared. And the turtle, they just did a little tiny bit every single time. And the turtle ended up getting success, right? Well, in network marketing, guess what you got to be? You got to be the rabbit first to get things off the ground, and then the turtle, and then the rabbit, and then the turtle. I'll give you another example. Example I like to use all the time. Let's say this is the runway at the airport. Okay? This is the runway at the airport, and on this runway you've got an airplane. Like my fancy art. But on this airplane, you're sitting on the runway. Now, let's say you're a good person and you're just, you're a part-time pilot. So because you got other stuff going on, you decide on the runway that you're going to give it 20% effort. So you're going to put the throttle down to 20%. Now, if you have any experience in being a pilot, are you going to get off the ground? If you go to 20% throttle? No. Are you going to get movement? Are you going to move down the runway? Yes. But you're not going to get off the ground. What if you had to do 40%? Okay, fine. I'll do double the 20%. I'll do 40%. You going to get off the ground? No. How about 60% or 80%? No. What do you have to do? Even if you're a part-time pilot, what do you have to do to get off the ground? You got to give it 100%. Now, it's not forever, but you got to give it 100% to get to an altitude. Now, once you're at that altitude, then you can pull back. You can't keep it at 100% for forever. Then you could pull back. You could put it on cruise control. You can relax a little bit. But to take off requires focus, commitment, 100% energy. You got to do it to get off the ground. This is true in any career, any business. To get off the ground, you got to go crazy. You got to give it 100%. You got to go nuts. Now, get off the ground. Whether you're a part-time person in network marketing or a full-time person in network marketing, you could say, well, I don't want to recruit 20 people in 30 days. I want to recruit one person a month. Have you heard that myth? If you just recruit one person a month and you teach everybody in your group to just recruit one person a month, you're going to have 4,000 people at the end of your first year. Well, that sounds really cool and it looks really nice on a piece of paper, but I've never seen anybody do it in 27 years. You know why? Because you can't get any altitude. You can't get off the ground doing one a month. You move down the runway, but if you don't get off the ground, eventually you're going to run out of runway, and you got trees at the end. You're going to hit the trees. You're going to hit the barrier at the end of the runway. It's going to be over for you. So slow and steady is not going to get you off the ground. A burst of energy, 100%. That's why recruiting 20 is important. Recruit 20, get off the ground. Then throttle back, work with those people, train them, motivate them, whatever. Okay? So slow and steady is not going to win the race. You've got to get an altitude. You've got to give it all you got for a short period of time. Second is, here's the second myth. Just don't quit. If you don't quit, you're going to make all kinds of money in network marketing. Not true. It's not true. You know how many people are sitting there starving to death? They're still there. They're still in. They haven't quit. They still go to the meetings. They still use the products. They still go to the conventions, but they haven't quit. Not quitting, of course that's important, because if you're not in the game, you can't win. But just not quitting is not enough. You've got to learn, you've got to grow, and at some point, you've got to get to that day that says enough is enough. I'm not going to live like this anymore. I have a higher purpose. I have a gift to be able to help people, and I'm going to go beyond just not quitting, and I'm going to give this 100%. That's what it takes. Learning skills, growing, practice, and a burst of energy. If you give a burst of energy and you decide that if you just say, slow and steady wins the race, I'm just not going to quit. You know how many millions of people in network marketing are holding on to these two things and hoping that something changes? Millions of people. I don't want you to be one of them. Because these two myths, just these two, when people hold on to these, they think that they're bound for success. And really what they're bound for is the end of the runway. They better hope that they have a big runway. It goes for a long time. You know, maybe it's 5 years before they hit the wall and they say, you know what, enough is enough. I guess I'm just not cut out for this. It's not true though. Okay? So understanding those two things. All right. I want to ask you a question, and I want you to write down the answers to this. I want you to be thinking about it and write down the answers to this. What would it be worth to you in your company, in your business, and like I said, there's lots of different companies that are watching this right now. What would it be worth to you if you could recruit 20 new people, new distributors into your company in a 30-day period of time? We'll talk about timing later, but in a 30-day period of time. What would it be worth to you? Now, I'm going to ask you some questions. I'd like you to write down the answers. 1, upfront commissions. When those people get involved and they buy that initial product pack or whatever it is, what upfront commissions are you going to earn from bringing in 20 people? 20 times whatever it is equals that amount. Okay? So write down that amount. 2, any other bonuses from doing that? So that initial activity. Maybe there's some fast start bonus type things. Maybe if you bring in 3, you get an extra something. You bring in 10, you get an extra something. There's some kind of other bonuses. How much will you earn over the next 12 months, would you estimate, as a result of those 20 people getting involved in your business? Approximately the next 12 months. Just come up with a number, and it can be a guess, but based upon what you know about your company, what you know about your products, what you know about your opportunity, what would that number be? Number 4. What would the lifetime earnings be for bringing in 20 people in a short period of time? What do you think, approximately? Guesstimate. You can't know that for sure, but give it a guess. Next. Will you rank advance as a result, or is it likely that you'll rank advance as a result of doing this? And what will that be worth? What would that be worth to you? Think about that number. Number 6.